All right, everyone, welcome back. I'll make sure I get past this menu. Okay, there we go. Unfortunate about Alien Syndrome, but we move on. At least it was underestimate, right?
X-Men.
So, I've actually not played X-Men consistently in quite some time, but I always like making sure it can be included in charity events whenever I can, because being able to play every character is really useful when you're trying to raise money for child hunger. So again, thank you for all who donated. Looks like we got one last day donation in for this game, which cleared what is now second place by $2. So thank you to everyone who donated. Beating out second place Nightcrawler by only $2 was Storm, who, I mean, I'm definitely not happy to run. Storm's the best character in the game. We'll be able to see some really strong play from that, I hope. She's also the only one where only character where I may realistically finish underestimate. Like, I can generally sub 30 with her, no problem. The other characters are the ones that don't have actual speed strats compared to Aurora. Anyway, let's go ahead and start up. Make sure our timer's in place. All right, there we go. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, Storm's busted. We're playing the Japanese version of the game, which is the only version I play in a speedrun capacity. Reason she's busted is because of this attack right here. If you hold the down forward direction and press the attack button, you get this really long range mid that hits from something like 90 pixels away. It has an asinine amount of range. It's way too good. Like, there's no bad character in this game, but Storm's the only clear god tier character. Like, she can just clean up the streets so well just by pointing her scepter in the correct direction. As you can see, she's making quick work of these sentinels. Get past these Samuses, throw a tornado at the problem, collect some health, do another one, another one. That'll move us on to our boss. That's not what I meant to do. That could be a problem. Don't like having my health here. Okay, so if Pyro's gonna give me the jump patterns, I might have some issues. Just have to be mindful of iframes is all. Okay, so there it was. All right, we're good. I do think it's arguable she's, like, in lore, the most powerful character in the game, so sure, I think it can track. So as most people know, this game does have dope music, and this is probably the most memorable track in the game. One thing I find interesting about this game compared to Konami's other, like, third-party licensed games, you know, TMNT, X-Men, Wild West Cowboys, X-Men didn't really have much of a multimedia aesthetic prior to this game being released. This game, in perspective, was based on a pilot episode of a show that later became something completely different. So while the look of that's unfortunate. While the look of the show is in place, there wasn't really any music associated with it that makes you think, oh yeah, this is definitely a such and such game, similar to the other ones did, how they did. So they took some liberties. So in a stage like this, you get things like record scratching, which is really experimental, and I think that's really cool. We get this guy up here. These pink sentinels carry power-ups and health ups, so we'll take those. Like, Konami team definitely did some interesting stuff here, just as far as the music goes. Mash our way through that, get this here, do a dive, come to the wall, throw a tornado at the problem. Take that out real quick. Storm's beating power is quite good. I would go so far as to say it's the second best in the game, to go along with all the other insane stuff she has. It's a nice feature, and not a bug like this thing. So we get these guys to come up here. This is the first time we've seen one of these. You're gonna be a mutant power drop. We call it a stock. And also refilled our health. So Blob is actually somewhat of a problem for other characters, unless he gets a 360 grab. Storm, not so much. She can outrange him pretty much all the time, unless you're too close to him like I was at the start. Also, if I have anything to say about it, he's not gonna get to talk. There we go. Simple enough.
X-Men.
Every other character actually has to have a battle against Blob. I feel like well, probably Dazzler has like an okay matchup against him by comparison, but Storm just trounces him. Okay, this is an actual enemy that Storm can have some issues with. Storm, despite all of her advantages, doesn't really have great anti-air. This attack here, which I just refer to as her 3A because that's the input for it, doesn't have good anti-air properties. It's a mid, but it's kind of low-ish to the ground. And she's not like a Dazzler or a Cyclops who has actual good anti-air normals. So I kind of try to whiff punish these idiots. Sometimes I can anti-air them, but I don't like to rely on it. Let these flowers spawn. That. Also, this music's dope. This might be my favorite track in the game. If you listen really close for the bass line, oh, it's so good. Get that. Once I know I'm getting a power up, I tend to be kind of liberal with mutant powers, especially if I know I'm going to get health out of it. Another thing to note, if you're doing basic attacks, you can only group 2 enemies at a time at this game. If a third one wanders in, they're going to be invincible. Take out the bee. You can't one-shot that like some characters can. Like Colossus and Dazzler could actually just straight up launch their mutant power and kill him. Get some iframes there. Item pickups do have iframes, which is really useful. Get some option selects. That didn't work. Worked on the first guy. I got a throw. So thing to note about this game, if you're attacking enemies on the ground, you can put yourself in a situation where you can hit other enemies as they're getting up. That was rude. You shouldn't have had those. Anyway, what I was saying was that, sit down. Something like this. So like, see how I'm just mashing and just attacking that lizard while he's prone? Sentinels that approach me, the game prioritizes being able to hit them, so I can get stuff like throws, I can get back attacks, you can just get a lot of really cool stuff that's really useful. Off the top rope. Put them all in the corner. Get some OSs. There we go. I'd rather not spend the stock here. Actually, you know what? Change my mind. We're gonna do that. I wanted the health and I wanted that guy gone. Everyone knows this part.
X-Men, welcome to die.
So yeah, Max said the thing. Got a few more of these guys to take care of. Not really concerned about the health there. Mostly because Wendigo is such an easy boss fight. For my money, this is the easiest boss of the game, even more so than Pyro. Every character can outspace this guy. Storm has the easiest time with it. Like, I can just kite him in and just poke him in the thigh and he's not gonna be able to do anything. But every character can do it. With the other characters, you just have to stay stationary, which Storm actually gets actual movement out of it. Stop that. One more cycle, I think. There we go. Oh yeah, this game is a story, doesn't it?
Rescue Kitty from the cave.
Magneto has started a new quest for world domination, which is totally not what he does, but for the sake of the game, we'll pretend it is. And because it's a Konami game, he has some damsels in distress. He's kidnapped Kitty Pryde and Charles Xavier. So Kitty is going to be hiding here. That was unfortunate. I don't want to get hit by that. These Iron Man looking sentinels here. All right, I got some spacing to do. Bear with me. That was a very unfortunate knockdown that I did not want to have happen. Turntable real quick. These lizards are also a lot more dangerous than what we've already fought. They have a new attack where they get to spit fire at you. I'd also rather not get hit by that. Is that a double kill? Very good. Okay. Do a reverse dive. Reverse dive is actually very useful. It's really good at manipulating enemies to come after you into a position where you can actually get the drop on them. Literally. But sometimes they see it coming and they anti-air you, and that's really scary. Okay, I took care of him. Okay, so take the stock, go ahead and use it. I just didn't want to have to deal with that Samus. Those enemies are called mandroids, but they look like Samus from the Metroid franchise, so that's what I've always called them. Get used to that. Sorry, not sorry. There's that flame attack I was talking about. Didn't want that to happen either. So we'll do this. Take this health. I'd like to be able to get it infinite on this bat. Good positioning. Peace out. Alright, good enough. Got some other goons to take care of. Okay, I'm gonna chill out here. Sometimes I'll wait up there and just hit them as they're incoming, but you can run into some grouping issues that way. I'd rather play this a little bit safe since the run's going so well. Okay, throw this at the problem. Let all these enemies show up. Do that. And one more. Since this guy drops health, I'm more than okay with doing that. Let these guys spawn in. I'm gonna go over here. Do this. I'm gonna chill on those for just a little bit. What? How did that not hit anything? Prioritize killing this thing. There was an element of danger to that because these Iron Man lookalikes definitely could have thrown a fireball at me and that would have been really bad. But thankfully it didn't happen. Always fun to manipulate them to throw boulders at each other. Take you out. Do this, do this. Okay. So this guy drops health. I'd actually rather not use a mutant power here though, because that could actually cause it to scroll off screen and nobody wants that. Now I'll use it. Okay. So this is Nimrod. For every character but Storm, Nimrod's a really hard fight. For Storm, he's merely just annoying. He does have a couple of attacks that can be an issue, like that flame wave he just threw out there. That thing sucks. It's like one of the few attacks in the game that can beat our spacing. Aside from that, as long as we stay at our range, we're fine. No danger of getting thrown, no danger of getting punched, and those do a lot of damage. And down here, oh yeah, very much a drama queen. All he wants to do is scream and shout the world about his problems. Very much a Nepo baby. And now he's gone. At least that's not a problem anymore. All right, so we rescued Kitty. We're still deathless, which is awesome. Bzz. So stage 5 is interesting. It's, I think, the longest stage in the game. Just for length and enemy count. It's also, I believe, the only stage that has a legit mid-boss. I guess you could count the B in stage 3 and the bad in stage 4, but I don't. Those are very lucky iframes. We take that, though. This game's a jerk. I have no problem being a jerk back. Hit that, hit that, hit that. Those things aren't a danger. I just don't like them making noise, so I just want to get rid of them. I'm actually going to do a little bit of safe camping here. I don't know why I missed pressing that button. Stay behind the wall. If it wasn't for the mandroids, this wouldn't be a safety precaution. I'd just fight them head on if they were all sentinels, but we do what we do. Okay, so we got a health up appearing here. I'm gonna spawn in a few more enemies, like some of these groundlings. Okay, that, come on, there we go. So here's our mid-boss, as I mentioned. We have Emma Frost. Emma's got 2 attacks that are they do a lot of damage, but they're pretty easy to avoid for the most part. I just have to make sure I'm watching out for her iframes. So the thing about bosses in this game is that after a specific number of hits, every boss will have a specific hit where they just go invincible. You saw there when I hit Emma, she just froze in place. That's a visual cue that they have iframes there. So what I try to do is when I know they're gonna have iframes, I just get out of their way and just don't try to be there. Let these mandroids spawn. Okay, so we're gonna do this because this is health. No. See if I get some OSs here. Very good. Love how any OS attack, even if it's basic as hell, is a knockdown. Very, very good for us. This will be a stock, which I can rest on that. Sure, all right. Do the cleanup crew thing here. I want a few more enemies to spawn. Here we go. That was a free use. I did not want to get hit there. Okay, we've got a section for new enemies here. These are the bone breakers. Pop out a Master Mold's mouth. I don't know lore-wise how that works. I find that kind of strange. Sentinels and Reavers don't normally interact, but I guess they do for this game. Yes, the 6-player cab was actually how I first played this game. It's something of a technical marvel. But it only exists in the United States and Europe. Hello? Take your hits, please. Last wave's not a big deal, but they do have to go. That was very unfortunate. I was not on axis. So Juggernaut has some really scary stuff. Yes, he's carrying a bazooka. He probably shouldn't be, but he is. The biggest scare tactic in this fight, honestly, is that shoulder charge. He does it instantly, as you saw at the start of the fight, and it's very, very difficult to react to. What I try to do is just loop him to the bottom like so, come up, and then just hit him on the way up. If I have the high ground, he has a much harder time hitting me. He can try hitting me on the way up, and I have to be mindful of that, but it's generally pretty easy to avoid. If he shoulders, I just wait for him to do this and come back, and we do it again. Thankfully, he doesn't have a throw. If he'd had a throw, this would be a very different fight, and it'd be a lot harder. God, these drums in this boss fight are so good. Dun, dun, dun. Come on, there we go. You tried to freeze me out there, and I wasn't having it. Okay, so stage 6 is really short, but they make up for that by the fact that it's probably the hardest stage in the game, top to bottom. There's a couple reasons for that. One, we have these silver sentinels who are, in my opinion, the hardest sentinels in the game. They take as many as 3 knockdowns to kill. They still die in one hit to the usual stuff, throws, beaten powers, etc. But trying to do them for like group kills is not easy. It's also a very dangerous stage. You can tell, see, there's a lot of pratfalls here. Like this bridge. This is arguably the hardest thing in the stage. Okay, so I'm gonna try and hold the line here. They got behind me, it's unfortunate. Okay. Best attack, let's go. Okay, so I'm actually gonna wait for this guy to come up here. He has health, so do this. What the heck? That was weird. Not sure how he got so close to me like that, but hey, that worked out, right? Okay, let's care of him. Take care of these, because I don't want to make a noise. I'm actually gonna forgo mutant powers now out of safety. These next few segments are really scary, so I really don't want to take the risk of getting hit. Retain full health where I can. Sit down. Y'all are acting up. You need to quit. This guy, however, carries a stock, and I'll be more than happy to take that off his hands. Yeah, it's a thing that happened. I'm not happy about it. Okay, so we take the head. I had to do what I had to do. So we'll let these pyros spawn in. Do that. That segment's also really scary if you don't one-shot them all. Okay, so definitely not trying to let things happen here. The problem with all these enemies is they all have really good zoning capability. The green mandroids are actually the worst at that, but we still have to be mindful of it. Their projectile only goes airborne, so it's only a real threat as an anti-air, but if we're trying to fight other enemies, it could actually be a problem. Okay, guess I didn't line that up right. That's fine. There we go. Okay, so one last health up. I'm actually gonna let this guy come up here and just do this. And here we have our boss. I think this boss is just quickly referred to as the Pharaohs. The one in the middle actually does have some comic lore, though. His name is the Living Monolith. He's like a subordinate of Apocalypse, I believe. He doesn't make an appearance in this game, but here we are. So this is a two-phase fight. The first phase is actually the hardest, because we have to fight two of these idiots at once. They only have one attack, but it's unfortunately a really good one. Very wide arc, ridiculous range. It actually outranges our best attack, so we have to respect it. One down. Stop that. All right, there we go. And from here, we just fight one of what we just fought, except he gains a new eye laser attack, but as long as we keep him in the corner and apply pressure, that attack's not gonna matter at all. Misspaced that, but that's okay. Sit down, please. It's not your turn. Come on. One more cycle should do. So you probably notice I'm not using mutant powers on bosses. They're actually not very good. You do get iframes out of it, and they can be useful for breaking throws against bosses where that's relevant, but they do very little damage. So they have good utility because iframes, but they don't make the fights go faster. They're not very good for that. On to our last actual full stage. This is Asteroid M. I definitely did not want that to happen. That's really scary. All right, I had to do this because that was a jerk move right there. So the real issue with this first part of this stage with these turrets, I try to kill these as quickly as I can. I did not get the jump attack I wanted. That's unlucky. Mixed execution, not so much RNG, but still. I didn't get it and I really needed it. Take care of this idiot. Okay. Take care of you, take care of you. This guy's gonna drop health, which is really good right now. Like that. Get some bone breakers here. Not sure how that missed him, but okay. Oh yeah, grouping, duh. Okay. There we go. So what I mentioned before about grouping, only hitting 2 enemies at a time, the one exception is the last hit of your combo. So Storm's round kick, that can hit as many enemies as it needs to. So ideally what you want to do is get 2 hits on the bone breaker, and then the third on at least 2 of them, and then get the last hit on all of them so it kills them faster. I'm actually gonna spawn all these guys and do this. And didn't want to stock, but that's fine. These guys have low health. Obviously we'll take a stock, but I was hoping that would be health so that I could abuse that a bit more. So now we have a boss rush. We refight 5 of the bosses we've seen up to this point. Essentially every boss but Pyro, who we already did a refight for, and Living Monolith. So Blob's first. Taking him out. Storm still has a really easy fight, and it's only 2.5 cycles. So we just do this. He wanted to iframes me there. I wasn't having it. Wendigo, same as before. We kite him in. We poke him to death. They do have reduced health in these fights, which is really useful. I believe Wendigo's only 5 cycles, whereas the original fight is like 9. So reduced health, a good thing for us. Also, this song slaps. Lots of really cool Konami stuff. Okay, so that's unfortunate. I really want Emma to come to the left, and I'm not trying to get hit while it happens. If I get hit, that could spawn our next boss, and we definitely don't want that. Iframes, there we go. Okay. Emma can be really scary if she gets out of line. So the Nimrod fight's actually a bit harder because we don't have a wall to back him into. He does have less health, but he has more advantage. If I can't back him into a wall, I can't bully him like I'm used to. So I kind of have to let him come in and then just hope for the best. He also has a lot more space with which to throw his flame wave, and that's not fun. He also likes to stall for time, as you can tell. And this game actually has a hidden timer. Each stage has 5 minutes to complete, or else the game kills you. You only lose 1 life, but it's still 1 life we could certainly utilize. Please stop. You're embarrassing me in front of my friends. Okay, so Jug's refight. I'm actually going to leave this up to him. Okay, so you wanted to go to the left. I'm fine with that. So now I can just keep him at bay over here. He really can't do much if he's on the left side of the screen and I just vertical scroll like this. Very useful that he gave us that. One more cycle should do. There we go. Okay, so on to Magneto, who has one attack I'm terrified of, and that's his kick. His kick is really fast. It does a lot of damage. I think it's 3 when your max health is 10. And it causes knockdown, which means he can just kill you with it. Like, if he hits me with it and corners me, he can just decide I can't get up and I just die. Pretty bad. I'm gonna keep going until I get him down to blinking health, which should be one more cycle, I think. Okay, there we go. So now I'm just gonna do this a bunch of times. And that's it. Oh, but it wasn't Magneto. Let's let Xavier explain it for us.
Alas, that was Mystique, not Magneto. Magneto is at another place. Go, X-Men.
So the other place is on the other side of this wall. So Magneto's gonna talk to us.
I am Magneto, master of magnet.
So, pro tip, you can actually break the shield to start of the fight and stop him from talking. But that costs health because it has to utilize a mutant power, and I'd rather keep the health. So first thing to note, shield is obnoxious. If he's in shield, we can't stop him unless we mutant power and get rid of it, which I'm not gonna do. Other than that, we kind of just treat it like the Juggernaut fight. I let him scroll to the bottom, come up top, then hit him again. The real downside of Magneto outside of shield is he just has a lot of health. It's something like 12 to 15 cycles to finish him off. From here, I just try to horizontal scroll to keep him at bay. I didn't want to do that. That was a misfire on my part. There we go. 3 hits for knockdown, repeat. He keeps liking to say that. So, also pro tip, when he's talking,
You shall meet with my wrath.
it's not a free hit unless he starts laughing. That was unfortunate, I misspaced that. So, while he's in the middle of dialogue, he can cancel out of that and hit you. So if he's talking, I don't recommend going up to hit him. If he laughs though, it's a free hit. So you'll always see me jump up on him if he's doing that. Don't care. Let him come down here.
You are helpless.
Gotta give Magneto this. He definitely hits the gym, doesn't he?
Dead.
You're about to be. Also, what I said about mutant powers earlier goes double for Magneto. They only do 7 damage against Magneto. I think that's actually less than what a normal attack does. So the only utility you get is iframes. That'll finish him off. I actually wasn't sure it was the last cycle, otherwise I would have started saying something, but he gone. That was a no miss too, good stuff. Magneto is defeated for now. Dude always comes back. Thank you all for the GGs. Struggle of X-Men. I actually like these credits. The comic panels is a really nice touch. Someone was clearly a fan. Music rules too. Especially those Konami orchestra hits. Whew. Strong run. Really happy with that one, especially after what happened with Alien Syndrome, but that game was kind of a test run anyway, so, you know, it's whatever. Whew. Once again, thank you to everyone who's donated so far, and for my own sake, especially everyone that donated towards X-Men, really appreciate it. Game's a classic. I love being able to show it off for the big events. And it has quite a bit of depth. Like, it has 6 characters and they all play differently, so makes for a lot of really fun replay value. Anyway, it's gonna close that out. We'll be back with our last game here in just a moment. Hit that.